everybody, it's Becky. Welcome to my first video of 2016. The first video of 2016 is going to be a collab video with my friend Amy from Alaskan Mama Vlogger. She has been a subscriber of mine for a while, has always been really supportive of me and my channel, and she's just one of those people that is so encouraging and positive, and it's always a bright spot in my day when I see that she's commented on one of my videos. I'm a subscriber to her as well. She lives in Alaska, and so to me that is so exotic. I know that sounds crazy, but it's so awesome. That's one of the great things about being on YouTube is all the different people from all the different places that watch your videos. And I realize that Alaska's not that far away, but I've never been there, and you see it on TV and it seems a certain way. And it's really fun to watch her videos. She has vlog videos that go up pretty much every day on her channel, and following her family and their life in Alaska. I've really enjoyed watching her videos over the last 6 months or so that I have known about her. So make sure you're subscribed to her channel so you don't miss any of her videos. But I'm excited to be doing this collab with her. And since she and I are both really big into family and traditions and making memories with your kids, we wanted to get together and make a video sharing our top 10 ideas for creating traditions with your kids. Nothing holiday specific, just things that you do with your kids to create memories and traditions and things that are going to mean a lot to them while they're growing up, and then when they're adults, they're going to think back fondly about those. She's going to do 5 and I'm going to do 5. I'll link her video down below, so make sure you check out her video after you get done watching this one to see what her 5 tips are. So my first tip is something that I always think about this time of year, because every year for my girls' birthdays, one girl has a birthday in January and one has a birthday in February. So every year for the girl's birthday, I write them a letter. And I keep it in a notebook, and it's in my office. They've never seen it. They don't know that I do it, but I write them a letter kind of explaining how their year was, some of the milestones maybe that they had, or some memories and some things that we did throughout the year. And I started that with my oldest daughter before she was born, actually. I had written her a letter telling her about my pregnancy with her and the hopes and dreams that I had for her and the type of mother that I wanted to be. I wrote that all in a letter, and it's in that same notebook, and that kind of is what started this whole tradition. So every year I do that, and I think it's going to be something I'm hoping that really means a lot to them. When they're around 18 or so, I'll probably give it to them and give them the whole book at once and let them kind of read every year how I was feeling and how much they progressed, and if they had any big milestones that year or anything really exciting that happened to them. The concerns and the hopes and the fears and all the emotions that I'm going through and all the things that have changed in their lives in that year. I'm putting that all in the letters, and I'm hoping that when they get older and I give them those books, that means a lot to them, because it means a lot to me to write it. And it's fun for me even now, because sometimes I'll go back and read the ones that I wrote for the previous years and how much has changed even in just a year and how much they grow. And I think it's going to be a fun way for them to look back and have that forever of my perspective of their childhood. And kind of along the same lines, whenever we have a family get together for the girls' birthdays, which so far we've done that every year. Now that my oldest is getting a little bit older, she's almost 12, I don't know that we'll do that, at least not the party part of it, where you've got like the themed cups and plates and the cake and all that stuff. We might have a get together with the family at a restaurant or something, because she's getting to the age where she wants to have more activities and parties with her friends and things like that. So, but every year, regardless, on her birthday, whoever comes to see her for her birthday, I always have them, just like you would do at a wedding, I just print out a sheet of paper, and if we have a themed birthday party, I'll put like the character or whatever on the top of the paper. And then I have everybody that comes to the party or the get-together to write a special message to the birthday child. So, and I keep those in their memory boxes, and I think it's a fun way for them too to look back and see who is there and just whatever birthday wishes that person wrote on the paper for them. So those two things, the birthday letter and then the signing of the paper, kind of go hand in hand, because those are traditions that I have both created around their birthday time. Tip number 2, and I mentioned this, is the memory box. And you know, in addition to a baby book, which sometimes baby books are hard to keep up with, because I know my youngest daughter, I don't know that I have done anything in her baby book besides her birthday and weight and height and all that stuff. But a memory box is a great way to keep all those things that don't fit in baby books that you might want to keep. And so this one came from Amazon a couple years ago. If I can find it, I will link it. And this is how bad I am. This is not my kid's picture or their footprint. I haven't put her picture, either one of I haven't put their own picture or footprint in the box yet. But I have the box. That counts for something, right? The box does have stuff in it. But it's nice because there's a lot of things that, even baby bracelets, you might want to keep, but they don't fit in the baby book. So this is nice because it's got a top shelf for smaller things, and then it's got a little tray that lifts out, and so if you have larger things you want to keep down in the bottom, all those things that you would want to keep that just fall out of baby books, it's such a nice way to be able to keep them protected and keep them safe, that all the things that you want to keep that don't fit in a baby book. And maybe one of these days I will actually put my own child's picture and footprint in the box. And they do have blue as well for boys, so that's good. I really love that, and I think again that's going to be something that they don't really ask a lot to look through stuff like that, but I think at some point they will want to go back and see their sonogram pictures or what their hair color used to look like. Also, it's a good place to keep baby teeth. That's such a random thing that maybe you want to keep, but you don't have anywhere to put it. That works great in there too. Along the same lines, each girl does have her own, what we call a special box that they keep, and usually it's a shoe box that we wrap in pretty paper, and you know, they'll have a couple throughout the years, I'm sure, but that's a place for them to put just things that are special to them. If they have a ticket stub from a movie they went to see with their dad, or if they want to keep their, well, actually they do have in there their Disney wristbands from our trips to Disney every year, or if they have any of the pixie dust that they throw out during the parades and they want to keep, you know, they gather it all up off the sidewalk and they want to keep the pixie dust, or anything like that that is special to them. Valentines that they get, those type things that they want to keep, those go in their special box. And that's just a great place to keep those things that maybe would be scattered all over their room or something, where if they didn't have a home. Kind of like a scrapbook in a box, basically. Tip number 3, and there's a couple different variations of this. My oldest daughter and I have a journal that we pass back and forth at nighttime. If you remember when you were in school and maybe you and a couple of your girlfriends had a spiral that you would trade during class change in the hallway, and then the other girl would write something in the journal and then she'd pass it on to the next girl, and they would kind of keep it going like that. I did that when I was in school. We probably weren't supposed to, but I have started that with my oldest daughter, and I will do it with my youngest daughter when she's able to write enough and read enough to be able to do it with me. That tradition is pretty much with just me and my oldest daughter. It's just a nice way to communicate when there's nobody else around and I'm just writing to her and she's just writing to me, and it's personal and private between me and her. And so it's been a really good way to grow closer. And I'm not great about it. I don't do it every single night, but I do it whenever I remember, and sometimes she forgets too, but it's fun to do that with each other. And we've had a book too we used to use. It's called Just Between Us. I tried to find it to show it to you guys, and I guess I probably have packed it away because we finished it, so I probably have packed it away in all her artwork and stuff. It's a journal that gives you writing prompts and things that if you kind of don't know where to start, maybe with a journal idea, and you want something to give you kind of a written guideline, prompts and questions and things like that for the moms and for the daughters. It's a great book for that. It's like 10 bucks on Amazon. I'll link it below if I can find it. It's been a couple years that we actually bought it and completed it, but it's really fun, and I plan on buying another one here in the future when my youngest daughter is able to do it, so that I'll have one of those with each girl to keep. And then also I'll be starting the journal with my youngest daughter when she's ready. In the same category, I usually will leave them a little card in their room at night while they're sleeping, and not every night. They don't know when it's going to happen. It happens a couple times a week, and sometimes they'll say, "Is tonight a card night?" I'm like, "You don't know. You just have to wait and see." But it's all different things. It's cute pictures that I find in magazines, or it's things that I print up off the computer, like with characters or certain things. Sometimes I save little things that come in the mail, like you know how those companies will send you like little kind of mock Christmas cards or greeting cards with cute pictures on them. I'll save those pictures. So all different things, and I'll write them a little message, or like I love you, or a little joke or something on the little card or paper, so that when they wake up in the morning, I lay it on their nightstand, that's the first thing they see, and they really enjoy that. And that's an example of something they put in their special box. I used to do that with my mom. She used to write me. This is how devoted my mom was. I hated school so bad, especially in middle school. I think I've mentioned that before. Well, in high school too, really. My first 2 years of high school were really unpleasant, and I hated it so bad, and I was so close to my mom, which I still am. We're best friends, and we were best friends then too. So she would write me a little note for each hour of the day and paperclip them all together, and that way when I'd get to like my first hour class, I would open the first hour note. And if it was fourth hour, I would open the fourth hour little strip of paper, and it would say something else. And it would kind of help to keep me going and make the day not so lonely. And I know maybe I'm the only person that had a horrible time in high school, but it really helped to have those notes from her. And I still have those notes, and I hope that my girls will always keep these little cards and notes that I leave in their room. So something kind of funny that I have done with my girls, that my mom did with me and my brother growing up, is we would do something called milk parties. And it's something silly that at bedtime, she would just bring my brother and I both a little cup of milk, or it didn't have to be milk, but whatever, just a little drink of something, and she would spend that extra little bit of time with each kid, and we would talk to her. And it was nice because the other siblings were already in their bed, so there was no interruptions and things like that. So that's something that I have carried on with my girls. I kind of changed it a little bit. What I do now is I will wake them up. This sounds awful. But usually I go ahead and tuck them in and they go to sleep. And then a couple hours later, if we're gonna have a milk party, I will wake them up. Usually it's around 1 or 2 in the morning when I'm going to bed. I will get them up and we'll have a little milk party. And it's typically in the summertime. That seems to be most of the time that we do it, because we'll actually go outside and sit out on the driveway, and the stars are out and it's peaceful and relaxing. And of course in the summertime it's nice and warm, and so it doesn't get too cold at night to sit out there, and it's quiet, and there's like the night bugs are singing, and it's just a nice peaceful way to it almost like feels like you're freezing time a little bit, because most people are already in bed. A little time that you can take with no cell phones, no TV, and it's uninterrupted time to talk and just be outside in nature, or you can do it inside, either way. But we typically do it in the summer, and that's just been something fun and silly that we do that maybe your kids might enjoy, and they think it's really awesome to get up in the middle of the night when everybody else is asleep. They really enjoy the fact that they're up when most kids are already in bed. And my last tip is not something terribly original and creative. That's why I save it till the end, because I think a lot of people have heard of going on dates with your kids. Now, whether that be maybe your husband takes the kids and you stay and do something on your own and he has just a special date with them, or if you take your kids out and he stays at home and you take them out just with them, and however you want to work it out. To me, in our family situation, it's a bigger deal for their dad to take them out because he works all the time. They're with me all the time. And there is a difference between being with me and with me doing something fun. But I think to them it's a really big deal to go out with their dad by themselves. He's not home that often. So that's really nice. 2015 was the first year they went to like a father-daughter dance type thing, and they loved that. Like the day they got home from that, they were already talking about wanting to go back next year. So they are going to be doing that again this year, and that's a really fun thing for them to do. But it doesn't have to be anything big and elaborate like that costs money. I think it's important. Try to take each kid out on their own. No other siblings around, and just spend that one-on-one time with each kid. It's amazing how much different your kids are when they are by themselves without any other siblings. It's really fun. It's a really great way to have that time where you're not, again, kind of like the cell phone thing, you're not interrupted by another kid talking or interrupting or trying to watch where the other kid's going while the other kid's talking to you, or just to do something fun together and be alone together. And it could be taking your kids somewhere that they like. It could be taking them somewhere that maybe they've never been before. I think now that my oldest daughter is getting a little older, she's really into crafts and art and things like that. I think it would be fun to take some classes with her. Maybe I was thinking of a beading class. That would be fun, to take a beading class. Maybe movies now that she's older and she can stay up later. I've taken her to movies before that were late movies. There's all different variations of what you can do, but I do think it's important for the children to spend a lot of special time with just you individually, with no siblings, and then also with the other parent, especially if you have one parent that works more than the other. In my case, like I said, my kids and I are together all the time because we homeschool. And that doesn't mean that they don't need quality, like fun time with me, but I think it's really important too to build that relationship with their dad. And so it's important to me that they have time together to spend with just him. So for whoever's not coming with us on the date, is they get to spend the night at my mom and dad's house, which they think is a big deal. So they're not like getting the shaft, like where they're at home and I have to stay at home and do chores and you're getting to go out and do something fun. They still get to do something fun and spend that alone time with my parents, while the other kid is with me, spending time with either me or my husband alone without their siblings, if that makes sense. So those are my 5 tips for creating traditions and building memories with your kids. Make sure you check the link down below so you can watch Amy's 5 tips. I'm really excited to see what she comes up with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you are not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.